Hey there, book people. Thanks for dropping in. I'm Dave, and I got a book haul for you today. Wasn't exactly a bumper crop in April, but I got a few things here that I think are interesting, and I'm excited to share with you. Well, I'm excited about all of them, but well, you'll see what I'm talking about. Before I get to the books, though, there's been some scuttlebutt in our little dingy, dark corner of the BookTube universe about this year's Pulp Fest in Pittsburgh, and I guess a few folks are thinking about heading out that way, particularly the Wizards and the Ebes group. And my wife and I were talking about it a little bit, and it's like a 5.5 hour drive for us, which really is a little less than it takes us to get to Kentucky, and which we do kind of frequently. So it might not be such a bad thing to make a kind of a long weekend out of that. Now, I don't know if I could really see us like visiting the show all 3 days of the weekend, but maybe one of the days, and then still using the hotel as our home base for antique stores or the zoo or whatever. So I don't know. We're still talking about it, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. See what your schedule looks like when you're going to be there, and maybe we can work something out. But all right, so let's get into what you actually tuned in for, and that's the books. So I'm going to start off with some of the online purchases. I only bought from eBay this month or last month in April, just kind of fill in some gaps that I have. And first up is a nice doll. This is Arthur H. Landis's A World Called Camelot, and this is the first in the Camelot or his Camelot series. You got that lovely yellow spine there. And I had, I think, book two or three in the series, so I needed to. I wanted to get the first book so I can get this, not so much scheduled, but at least get it poised to be read here sometime shortly. So this came out in '76. It's a Thomas Barber Jr. cover, which I think is pretty cool. It's got the whole knight. I'm into the whole knight things. This is definitely Sword and Planet. Not sure what's going on with that soulless teddy bear there, but I'm sure we'll find out. But yeah, so if you've read this series before, especially you Sword and Planet guys, let me know what you think of it. Not sure when I'm going to get to it, but it is something I definitely want to get to, obviously. Otherwise, I would have bought it. Next up, now, I've talked about Elmore Leonard before, Michigan author, crime writer, great stuff. Many of his books have led to some very, very good movies. I've only read a few of his books, though. And what you kind of find out, some are, technically they're all standalone, but there are a lot of references, a lot of throwbacks to previous encounters that some of his characters had. So I kind of stopped reading what I had. I've got a kind of a list built up over there, or stack, I should say. I wanted to hold off and start with his first crime novel and work my way forward. And of course, that's the big bounce. But every time I come across that book in a thrift store or used bookstore or whatever, it's always that ridiculous movie tie-in cover, which I absolutely hate. So I finally just went on eBay and grabbed one that was not that cover. It's not the first print. I would love to get the first print paperback, but that's going to run 50, 60 bucks, and I'm not about to do that. I think this is a 90. No, yeah. No, 86. This is an 86 printing. What the hell is it? Ballantine? Oh, shit. Can't read. Doesn't matter. Mysterious Press, whatever the hell that is. So 1986. Just thought it was kind of a, I don't know, just a better cover than that movie tie-in. So now that I've got that, I can put that towards the top of the TBR, and we'll see what happens and see how that goes, and I can finally work my way through his books. Of course, that doesn't count the Westerns. That's going to be held separately. Anyway, one of the minor reading projects that I've been talking about a couple of times over the past few videos have been the Playboy Press books. And so I grabbed this one. This is Samarkand by Graham Diamond. And this is a fantasy series, I believe. This was published in 1980, and there's no credit to the cover artist on this one, which I think is a pretty damn cool cover. But yeah, this is the first in the Samarkand trilogy. I think it is a trilogy. I do have Graham Diamond's, the first in his Princess Empire, Empire Princess series. I haven't got to that yet, but I just wanted to get this one, so it is in the TBR, or at least on the list, ready to be picked whenever it should come up. And then, of course, following along with that project, I also have a project to read whatever I can grab from that was published in 1970. And this just so happens to tick off that project as well as the Playboy Press. And this is The Year of the Cloud by Ted Thomas and Kate Wilhelm. No idea who either of those authors are. Don't know who did the cover. I really don't care because it sucks. But yeah, so 1970 science fiction by two people I've never heard of. Let me know if you've read anything by either one of these people, and or if you've read The Year of the Cloud. That would be cool if you let me know about that. All right, so where do we want to go next? Let's go. Speaking of trips down to Kentucky, at the beginning of the month, the beginning of April, my wife and I went down there to visit the grandkids, and we go straight through Dayton on the way there and back. So that's Nick's backyard, and Nick is always talking about basically a honey hole, in my opinion, that Bell Book and Comic. And so I was like super stoked. On our way back, I made a point that we were going to stop there, and I was going to get some badass books. But I failed at my recon mission, and we pulled in on a Monday. They're not open on Monday. So instead of weeping, which I felt like doing, we ended up going to an antique mall that's just south of there. It's still in Dayton, I guess. It's called Antique Village. I'm sure, Nick, you've heard of it. Which is just this huge antique mall, I guess what it's called. And we kind of browsed around. Didn't find a ton of books there, but we, of course, bought some other crap that we really don't need. So that was fun. But I did find a couple of things. The first is The Curse of Wrathlaw by Peter Saxon. Now, this is one of the Guardian books. I'm not sure exactly where it fits into the series. It's like, I don't know. So I don't know if this is a numbered version of the series or book of the series, or if it's something that's just kind of related. If any of you know about that, please let me know. I'd love to figure that out. But this is a Magnum book. It's got a number 0 there on the spine, so I'm not sure how significant that is. This was published in 68, apparently. I think this was, Peter Saxon was a pen name used by several authors. I think this was Martin Thomas who actually wrote this book, but yeah, so I'm excited about that. So just let me know if you can where that fits into the whole Guardian universe. Next one is looks like a men's adventure thriller. I don't know. Don't know the author at all. This is Devil's Sea by Greg Donegan. This is an Atlantis, or a book in the Atlantis series. And, judging from the back, it's got something to do with, Atlantis, the Bermuda Triangle, aliens, and Navy SEALs. So I'm sure shit's going to blow up. But I don't know. Looks interesting. Kind of a men's adventure thriller, I guess. Figure I'd give it a try. It's, I think, the third in the series or something like that. I can't remember. This is Berkeley, by the way. Oh, I probably should tell you when it was published, since that's what we all do. I believe it was in the 90s. No, I was wrong. 2001. So cover art by Craig White and Peter Lott. So I don't know. I'm not really impressed with the cover, but I guess it's kind of cool. All right, and here's an SOB. This is Pacific Payload by Jack Heil. This is SOB number 23. I have number 3 already. I've had that for a little while. Kind of was holding off reading that just because I'd really like to start in order, especially with a low book like that. I'd like to get the first couple. And I think I'll continue to do that, continue to wait until I find the first or second one. This is from March of 1988, and this, of course, is Golden Eagle. But yeah, definitely men's adventure. I'm sure everybody's familiar with the SOB series, so that looks pretty cool. Another minor project that I've got, I used to, back in the late 80s, early 90s, was really into the Forgotten Realms novels. And for me, they were hit or miss. I mean, some were just bad, and some were pretty good. And most of those that were good were written by R.A. Salvatore. And so I I decided I wanted to kind of get back into his writing. I wanted to go revisit some of his earlier Forgotten Realms novels, work my way through the Legend of Drizzt, could never pronounce that, and then check out some of his other stuff. And I happened to come across at that antique mall this one. This is The Sword of Bedwyr, I think it's called. This is a Crimson Shadow book, or part of the Crimson Shadow series. I think it's the first. So I don't know anything about this other than it's apparently fantasy, and this is a Aspect book. Never heard of Aspect, but maybe I have and just don't know it. Well, it's a Warner. Anyway, printed in 1995. So any of you Salvatore fans out there, let me know what you think of this Crimson Shadow series. Does it kind of live up to the Drizzt novels, or is this second class Salvatore? So yeah, that's all I picked up on our trip down there through Dayton. And what I've got left here are a few thrift store pickups from local thrift stores up this way. Another author that I'm really looking to read most of what he published. Now I've read a couple of his books already, but not nearly everything, and that's David Gemmell. And so I found Sword in the Storm, which is book one of the Regante series. And yeah, I just love his writing. I from what I remember. Now it's been a while since I've read I think Morning Star and Legend, and the memories I have of it are that it's pretty enjoyable. I just like the way he writes, his style of writing. This was printed in 2001. This is a Del Rey. Yep, Del Rey. But I've never, I haven't read the Regante series, so it was just kind of pretty cool that I found the first one. So definitely going to add that to a, maybe not priority, but it's coming up somewhere on the list. This one I was excited to find. So, I'm all about Michigan authors, and it just so happens that I came across this one in a thrift store, and I usually am never, for one, Michigan author, two, it's a horror novel. That just doesn't happen to me, but it did. So this is a Crooked Tree by Robert C. Wilson. And as I said, he is a Michigan author. And the cover art is by Dario Campanelli, I think. And it's one of those step backs. So let's see if we can get this so it looks where we can get it where you can see it. Yeah. Whoa. Yep. So that's kind of, not sure what's going on there, but maybe I will find out. This is a Berkeley, and it was printed in 1981. I guess it was out in hardcover in 1980, but came out in paperback in 81. So I was really excited to find, a horror novel by a Michigan author. So this will be definitely going up a little bit higher on the priority list than most. All right, so a few of you have been talking about Don Pendleton's Stony Man series. I've seen him here and there, but never picked him up. But came across another one, and this is Deep Rampage. And I think this is, number 62. It's a Gold Eagle book. Definitely not low number in the series, but you guys that are familiar with Stony Man, it's printed in 2002. Can these be read out of order? Is this one of those series where you can just jump in at any place, or is there any benefit to that, or are you losing something, or are you missing something? If you do that, let me know, because like I say, I'm not going to sit on. I would rather not sit on this until I get 1 through 61. So it would be kind of cool just to find out what this is all about without having to worry about collecting all the other ones first. But let me know. All right, let's jump back a little bit to Salvatore and Drizzt, whatever. Picked up The Lone Drow, the Hunter's Blade Trilogy, Book 2. Yep, Book 2 of the Hunter's Blade Trilogy. Obviously, Drizzt, whatever. So yeah, I was kind of excited to pick this up once I decided to do the R.A. Salvatore thing. I found a couple of different books, which I normally don't see them. And this, again, is one of the Forgotten Realms, and it came out in, 2004. It looks like it was in paper or hardcover in 2003. This is 2004 printing. So excited about getting to this eventually. Got to work my way through several others before I get up to there, though. And then I got one more to show you, and this is kind of like way outside of my comfort zone. So a few of you have been talking about some books, particularly criminality, but in our little sphere is Brian over at Bad Taste Books, and the book I see you guys talking about these young adult horror movie or books, Goosebumps, things like that. I've never read any of the Goosebump books. They're kind of a little bit after my time, but my kids had them. That was they all had them. They all read them. And of course, you guys are showing them and reading them and liking them. Now, there was a similar thing going on here in Michigan by a guy named Jonathan Rand, who wrote a series of books. I don't know, it's like 30 or something like that, called Michigan Chillers. And they were basically Goosebumps, but all based in Michigan, different parts of Michigan. And so I happened to find, now that I had that in my head from your videos, happened to find one. This is number 14 of the series, The Bionic Bats of Bay City. Again, I'm not a YA reader at all. In fact, I try to avoid it, almost come close to despising it. But I don't know. I'll give it a shot. We'll see how it goes. And I'm definitely not going to go into the Goosebumps realms or anything like that. I'm only interested in this because it's local author, local subject, local settings. We'll see how it goes. Have any of you guys that who are into the whole Goosebumps thing, have you ever heard of the Michigan Chillers series? I think he also went on to write, I'm not even sure what it's called, but it's not just Michigan. It's like all over the United States. He wrote a series similarly where each story is based in a different city, but not just in Michigan. Now it's all over the United States. So I'm probably not going to go that route, but maybe you've seen them. All right, that's it. That's all I have for April. I appreciate you sticking with the video and checking this out with me. Let me know if there's anything in there that you think is cool. Let me know if you've read any of these. Love to hear your opinions on them. Yeah, so again, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate your comments and your watches. And until next time, I hope you stay well, and I will talk to you soon.